Hello and welcome to Plugging Along, a stream dedicated to LOTRO plugins. Last time on Plugging Along, we switched to the Festival Buddy plugin in order to start adding some Farmers Faire quests, because they have not been added yet. We added the Fat Mayor quest first with Mayor Will Whitfoot, and we added both the quest hints and also some chat monitoring for some alert banners. Today, I want to add quest hints for each of these staffing the market quests from Daisy Sandyman over there. There are 6 different quests in kind of, I think, 2 parts. 3 of them are just various tasks, and 3 of them are scavenger hunt style grocery selections. And I think some of them really benefit from the kind of quick reference that the Festival Buddy can provide. As always, feel free to jump into chat with your thoughts and questions. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and probably pull up the wiki. A problem with doing plugin development with this quest is when you get the quest, it starts a 15-minute timer, and when that timer goes, the quest expires, and then you can't interact with any of these customers again until you can once again get the staffing the market quest. And because of that, it's going to be helpful for us to set us up for success by first grabbing a lot of the text that we think that we want from the wiki, and then using that 15 minutes per character, per server, to kind of test through and make sure we're happy with the result. Now, fortunately, this is Treebeard. I have a lot of characters on this Treebeard who can all do this quest, and that's actually very useful because short of being level 130 or so, which you can't do on Treebeard, these festival quests are some of the fastest ways to make progress on that legendary items reward track. So if we're down to the end of the festival here and you're thinking, oh man, I just need to make progress on a little bit more, well, the festival is a great way to do that. And so each of my characters is available to run through here and maybe get some more of that ancient script that is sometimes so hard to get. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull up that wiki. LOTRO wiki. Great. Oh, I'm not actually logged in. I guess I could log in. Shoop. I guess I can't log in. Have to figure out what my password is later. Okay, so what we're doing is staffing the market. And we're going to come on in here. If you're not familiar with it, our poor Daisy Sandyman is overworked, as is her title. And so she's going to ask you to help some of these customers that she's not getting to. And so 6 of them will light up with rings with things that direct you to do stuff. Here on the Staffing the Market wiki page, we can see the quest chain links to those 6 quests. Now, if you happen to know, there is a specific order. For instance, I think this customer over here wants apples, then the next customer wants to make a stew, and so on. So I think it's going to make some sense for us to add them in that order. But you could just add them in whatever order. The order in the code doesn't matter too much. So we're going to start with apple shopping. So the quest is apple shopping. And for something like this, my first step is to go to the walkthrough and notes sections and see, can we just lift that completely? Do we need to change this at all? Search the apple crates, discard wormy apples. You can sell any extra green apples and red apples you find. That sounds great. Okay, so what is that going to look like for us to add a quest to this plugin? Well, I guess we can start by going in. Make sure we have loaded the Festival Buddy plugin, and then type /festival to get the UI to show. I actually have a thought on that I wanna think about later. Let's see, where will I make that note? Probably the top of this here. Okay. All right, so Farmers Faire, we have the Fat Mayor quest. We want to add more. In the code, there's 2 places where we want to do this. Let's go ahead and pull up our code. Actually, let's pause there and check, are we working with a clean directory? And the answer is no, there's still some stuff. Okay, we see some debug messaging. It's okay for it to be there. It's actually all commented out with that double dash comment. single line comment. We have a, let's see, we have removed a debug statement. We should probably go ahead and record that. Oh, and this was a request made by Little Redhead. We'll get to that in a second. So remove debug statement. Cool. Okay, we'll get to that in a moment. Options window, this is just our show debug options. Quest, this is, for some reason, my text editor is not dealing with these special characters, or non-ASCII characters, well, non-lower ASCII characters, very well. So we just want to discard those changes, don't need them. And then there were a couple of bug fixes that I found just testing this over the week. Oh, Little Redhead says you moved the cat toy. Well, you should move it back.
They're playing with it right now.
Yeah, they'll keep going. All right. Okay, so first thing, the "so thirsty" line in the wiki, which is where I got these 22 quotes from. In the wiki, there were not spaces. The actual mayor says it with spaces. So we have an option. We could keep both of them just in case sometimes the mayor says one thing and sometimes the mayor says the other thing. Or we could assume that the one we actually saw happen is the canonical one. It doesn't matter too much. This is the strings file. Let's pull that up. So ... Oh, I don't want to do a regular expression. So ... thirsty. So it does not harm us to leave this there. If we ever got a "so thirsty" without those spaces, then it would also match water. You could also do something more clever, like do a regular expression, star or something. Agatha says, Wiki was wrong with regard to spaces. I haven't fixed it yet on the wiki. Absolutely. This is one of those things where I should probably go back and backfill into the wiki. But for most purposes, it's not an issue. We had the same thing, actually, with the ac spicy. And amusingly, I added them in the opposite order. So I think this one was wrong without the spaces, just as this one was wrong without the spaces. That being said, let me go to my general chat and see if he has bothered to say something like that. Bland, bland, bland. Dear me, it burns. No. Okay. Will Whitfoot, you have not been useful there. Okay. So, I would say it's safe to go ahead and remove both of those. We'll be able to recall them back if we want because of the nature of source control. And there we go. So we should still have 22 of these. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, there's 22. There we go. So fixed some mayor speech. And then there was one where the wiki spelled compliment with an I, and the mayor says compliment with an E. Maybe it's his local Hobbit and Bywater accent. Who can say? So we're going to go ahead and just commit that. And finally, the chat logger. So this was a request from Little Redhead. And actually, if I go ahead and accept the mayor's request, then what was requested was just front and center the item that the mayor needs first, and then the text that the mayor says, just in case that's relevant. And so that's what this reordering has done. Instead of the request and the item message, which is the item, butter or whatever, or use butter, or use nothing, use water, and then the request. So, use salt. That's the first thing. Bland, bland, bland. And we can see we have 9 seconds. All right? To pick up the salt. And there's a little bit more time to deliver it. So, use salt. So that was the request. Instead of bland, 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 use salt, and then it could get kind of messed up in there, mixed up in there. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Improved alert of mayor's need. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and leave this debug thing here. We've got our options, debug option set to true. And so we have a pretty clean code that we're working with. Great. So when we're adding quests into Festival Buddy, there's two places we need to do it. First is in strings is the list of content of this dropdown. Now this feels a little redundant to me, but I'm not here to redesign this whole thing. I'm just here to add a few features. So we're going to come in and figure out where that is. Here we go. So down here, nope, that's tokens. Farmers Faire. There we go. So this is under the quest section of the strings. Must match the quest names given in game. Great. We're going to go ahead and add these. And again, we're just adding the English versions of them. This is not going to be correct for French or German at this point. But that's a hopeful to do before a release happens. On the other hand, a release for the English-speaking audience might be useful because this festival has a ticking clock. So not sure about that. Okay. So we want probably to bring this wiki page back. Okay. So apple shopping. We're going to hope that the quest names in the wiki are correct, and we'll fix it later if not. So we need a key first of all. So just apple maybe underscore shopping, and it's going to equal, and the English version of it is apple shopping. Cool. And that will let the chat parsing part of it see, oh, you've accepted the quest apple shopping. Let's update the UI. Awesome. Oh, Agartha has the French and German strings if I want them. I would definitely love to have them. If you don't mind firing that off to me, say on Discord or something, I'll maybe incorporate that offline or maybe during next week's stream. Okay, so we have added a string, to that drop-down list. So we can actually test that by reloading Festival Buddy, and we can now see there's apple shopping and Fat Mare. Now we're going to throw an exception, probably if we switch to apple shopping. Yep, oh look, we attempted to index a field, but it was a nil value. So the other half of that is quest strings. You need to have an entry in here, or you're going to get that exception. So let's come on in, and same thing. Apple, well, now I've forgotten what I said. Okay, apple underscore shopping equals, awesome. And we're going to go ahead and have the string, that is to say, the thing that shows up here, be defined. So string equals, and again, we're going to go ahead and work with the English string right now. English equals, and then the text that we want, and we can use the \n here for the new lines. And then we just need to go back here and say, okay, let's maybe borrow this text for right now. Remembering that we can't have a line be too long without it wrapping around in the display. So let's see what that looks like first. Unload, load, come over to apple shopping. Okay, search the apple crates, discard wormy apples. You can sell any extra green apples and red apples you find. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do some new lines. But first, search the apple crates until you can't. So you can search the apple crates until you have gotten all of the apples you need. You need a golden apple, you need, I think, 6 green and 6 red apples. Once you have at least that much in your inventory, you stop being able to search the crates. New line. Discard any wormy apples. And by discard, it really means that they're worth nothing. You can't sell them. You have to drag them out of your inventory and vaporize them. You can sell any extra green apples and red apples you find. That is true, or pass them, or keep them for the next, for the next time. Yeah. So those apples sitting in your inventory, and you actually it says any extra green or red. I think you want golden apples, and you can rarely get extra of those. I have a character with like 2 or 3 golden apples. Just randomly got them before they filled up all the red ones. So I think you can sell those. Yep. You can sell any extra golden, green, red, or golden apples you find, or keep them for the next time. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend selling them if you're going to run this quest repeatedly on the same character. Just keep them in your inventory, and then the quest goes faster the next time. Okay, let's see what that looks like in the UI. Apple shopping. Search the apple crates until you can't. Discard wormy apples. You can sell any extra green, red, or golden apples you find, or keep them for the next time. Sweet. Weirwell points out, excellent point, that you are allowed to mail wormy apples. Let's see, do I have any wormy? No, I don't have any here. But they are mailable objects. You can't sell them, so you do have to trash them. So if someone deserves your affection/wrath, that is a thing that you could do. Excellent. I wonder if you could find like open housing vaults and just like drop wormy apples in them. Okay, so that is all we really need to do. A lot of these festival quests, I think, mostly benefit from having the, oh, what does that do? What do I need to do again? Just up. There's no complicated chat parsing that we need to do. Just a little reference page. And then you're either using it or you're not. That's apple shopping. And that's the first of the 6 quests. Okay, the next quest is fresh savory mushroom stew. And remember, we need to add this in 2 places. We're going to add it over here. So something equals something. Now, we're going to have some repetitive editing here. And when that happens, I tend to want to go ahead and do a multi-edit. So we have the fresh savory mushroom stew. The next one is going to be a nosy request to go go encourage some workers to come back to work. And then there are 3 lists. I can't actually remember the order that they show up in. So we'll start by saying, why not a market list, a shopping list, and a vendor list. But I do actually know the order that they come up with. So, great. The one that requires one of everything, yep, is the first one you get if you're kind of going left to right as you look at the stall. So we want a shopping list to go first. After that, is it a market list or... Well, yes, market list is next because it does not require cabbage, and then the final one, the rightmost, requires cabbage. Okay, so great, we're in the right order. Fresh savory mushroom stew. So we're going to want all 5 of these to look just like we see over there. And so the first thing we might want to do is make that key here. So if we just come in and convert case to uppercase and then just replace all those spaces with underscores, great, we've got our keys and we can bring them on back to this file. And the next thing we want to do is go ahead and start writing that line. So open bracket, double quote, the key, double quote, close bracket, equals, and then brace, space, bracket, English, great, equals, and then the thing. So we've got that quote, semicolon, and brace, semicolon, and there we go. We say to ourselves a little bit of typing by just doing a multi-edit instead. Okay, let's go ahead and bring that back in here. Now, the UI is probably just going to show them alphabetically if we unload and reload. And, of course, it's not wide enough for the fresh savory mushroom stew. Now, Festival Buddy does have a hover over tooltip system, so you don't have to have the box be wide enough, but it is just a little funny. But no, we can see actually these are in no particular order. And that is expected. Lua tables, when you iterate through them, come back in whatever order. There's probably a hash under the covers, and unless you specify and sort them into a table, you just get them in whatever order. But the way I use Festival Buddy is I don't select a quest. I just let it sit here. And when I pick up a quest, it automatically changes that drop-down to be the quest. So I never actually notice the order of those things. But if we wanted to, we could go ahead and sort that alphabetically or provide a specific ordering if we made some code changes. That being said, we've gone ahead and updated the strings.lua to contain what we need. For our sake, and in fact, we can add a comment here. This is the staffing the market quests in Bywater. Bywater with, what's her name? Daisy Sandyman. Daisy Sandyman. Great. Left to right. Okay. So we've gone ahead and added the entries here. We do need to go ahead and add those same keys over into the quest strings. So I've gone ahead and restored them over in the buffer here. We're going to go ahead and nix those contents, and instead we're going to go ahead and just keep doing a multi-edit because we want string equals brace awesome at that end semicolon, and we also want English equals quote quote cool, and that gets us the structure of what we're looking for here as well. In fact, let's grab that comment here, and we can stick that right there. Okay, so that gets us the bare bones of what we need for the next 5 of these, and now we just need the textual contents. So if we come on back in, load that festival buddy, we can see not only are they all here, but we don't throw an exception, I hope. Oh, we do. Why did we throw an exception? Did I mess something up? Okay. Main win 309. Let's double check. Actually, let's make sure that I unloaded and reloaded. Great. So FatMayor does. Oh, that does not. Okay. Oh, well, I'm curious. Why am I throwing an exception when I was sure I wouldn't? All right. So we are doing selected festival, and then string settings.language. Well, I figured I just mistyped something like string or English, but I'm not actually seeing that. Well, let's come on back to the Apple shopping. Okay. Maybe it's just not expecting an empty string, so let me go ahead and do just the name of the thing as a placeholder, and that will let us test that assumption. All right, unload, reload, and then no, interesting. Well, you piqued my curiosity, code. So, quest strings, selected festival. Yep, we're still in the Farmers Faire. K, which should be the key. And then we're looking for dot string. Yep. And settings.language. So let's just do a quick little genetic appendix field question mark. Fascinating. Turbine dot shell dot right line K, and we're going to go ahead and do that, and then well, it seems trivial, but let's get that selected festival in there as well. Cool. So we've got a little test code there. We're going to go ahead and come back in here. Fat Mare, selected, Festival 6, KS Fat Mare, great. Here we go, a nosy request. So, real question, did I mistype something? No. Okay, a nosy request. This is so odd. Okay, so I did something correct with the Apple shopping and didn't do something correct with the rest of it. I mean, my multi-edit sure seems like it would be to blame. Let's just test something. So we're gonna go ahead and replace this and replace this. It's this semicolon. I was thrown off by how that semicolon is formatted. I'm amazed that it parsed. Okay. So all of these things were being put into not the Farmers Faire bucket, but just the general whatever was above that bucket. Fascinating. I would feel pretty good about that. I'm going to go ahead and reload, come back in, great. A nosy request, a shopping list, a market list. So what's going on here is I am very much used to a different style of bracing. Here the braces are, let's go to something that existed before I got here. The braces are being first of all, they're appearing on the next line, which I don't think is really think of as a Lua idiom. I think of that as more like a Java or something idiom. I'm not sure. But the opening and closing braces are just appearing indented. So that's happening here. What's happening here is the trailing brace is indented, but that opening isn't. And what I would prefer to see, personally, is that trailing brace appears on that same line as the opening thing. And that way you can just visually find the stuff. There's not a one better than the other kind of thing. It's just a what are you used to? And I'm used to the braces being on the same line as the thing that they are indenting from, not the same line as they have indented to. Yeah, you can do it either way. Consistency is the most important thing. And so if I was being consistent here, it would be better to show it like this. It just feels like so much vertical space is being used. And so I've come to appreciate Lua's tendency to put braces on the end of the previous line like that. So we're going to go ahead and do that, or think about doing that anyway. And then that final brace at the end of the file. Oh, interesting. So these aren't indented. Oh, that hurts. Fascinating. At what point did... I really just want to run a lint formatter on this thing and be done with it. Okay, there's like 3 different brace styles going on in this file. I don't feel bad about adding a 4th. Okay. Okay, so we've figured out a problem anyway. So we're going to come on in. We've got fresh, savory mushroom stew. So what do we need to do for this? Well, this is an interesting one because unlike many quests where you can interact with a quest item from far away, the quest items do not become interactable using select or right-clicking or whatever. They don't become interactable until you get close enough to kind of be like, aha, that's the thing I need. And then it phases in and then you can interact with it. So for me, remembering where to walk over to so I can make the thing spawn is the most important thing. So we're going to go ahead and show this walkthrough and notes. I think this is way too many words for the amount of space we have to work with. But just for kicks, let's go ahead and pull that into a buffer. And we really just want to go ahead and any place where there's a new line, we're going to replace that with \n. And let's, just out of curiosity, see what that looks like in the UI. Like, is it good? Is it bad? So we come on in here, we've got the fresh savory mushroom stew, and we can see immediately that it has scrolled, and the scroll bar is all the way down, so we don't even see the beginning of the recipe. So not so great. But we do know we're only going to be looking at this with the normal happy path if someone has just picked up the quest. So by definition, they're here in Bywater, standing right around here. We don't need to give coordinates where Bywater is. We can just direct from there. The wiki is trying to be a lot more generic, which is fine. So we can do more things like, okay, recipe. Now, we can't see it, we can't interact with it, but this is the recipe right here. So we could just say table by the oven, because this is the oven that we're going to be cooking the thing in. So that would be a start, and that would replace all of this, I think. So, new line, and then, okay, so the beef. They provide actual coordinates at the meat stall, basically last stall on the south side of the road as you head east through the market. That is a lot of words. We don't have room for that. But what we do have the ability to do is say, hey, we know it's this one. Hey, we're at the southeast corner of the market. Great. So, beef. Southeast stall. Done. Let's make a new line. Oh, we'll just come back and do the new lines at the end. Okay. So, salt. On the table in front of the novice cook. Yep, we actually just run back right where we were, and the salt is right here on this table. So it's actually the exact same direction as the beef. Table by the oven, done. Water, and let's go ahead and remove that. By the well, just north of the novice cook. Yep, it's right over here. Water well in the center is fine. Carrots, basically last stall on north side of the road as you head east through the market. So many words. But yes, normally I'm a fan of verbosity, we just don't have the room here. So we're talking right here, we can see it's the northeast stall. That's fine for me. Carrots, the northeast stall. Great. Bacon, same stall as beef in back. That's very true. It's right over here on this shelf, in fact. And so, beef, southeast stall. And then the mushrooms. These are actually in the mushroom tent up on top of the hill. If you are just starting out here, you don't necessarily know where they are, but the mushroom tents are just over here. And once you've been doing quests in the area, I don't feel like we need to spell out exactly where it is, but we can say, since we know that it's going to be on these two tables here, we can go ahead and say, tables by mushroom tent on hill. We might even have enough space for that. Okay, and then the final thing that the recipe wants you to do is go back to the oven and use the stew pot to stew it all up together, and that's right here. So we can say stew pot is on ground by the oven. So that's the kind of streamlined instructions I'm looking for. Just a reminder, right? Like, assume I've done this quest maybe once before, and I just have to remember, which part of the market am I going to? And in that case, we might be done with this. So we're just going to go ahead and do a multi-select, replace those actual new lines with \n, and get that to replace all of that verbosity. So that was 756 characters. We've got more like 238 now. That sounds more reasonable. So unload, reload, pop back in, and now we have recipe, table by the oven, beef, southeast stall, salt, table by the oven, water, well in the center, carrots, northeast stall, bacon, southeast stall, mushrooms, tables by mushroom tent on hill, stew pot on ground by the oven. Awesome. I think that's going to be very streamlined. We'll give it a shot here. Once we've got all 6 of these in, we're going to run through this all and make sure we're happy with what we see. So if that's the fresh savory mushroom stew, which sounds good, let's move on to a nosy request. So this is a very concerned hobbit who has seen that some of the workers aren't showing up for their shifts. You're set off to go remind them, hey, go work. So we're going to go ahead and start by copying this text. I'm done with that. Okay. Copy that text, bring it on over here. How do we want to fix it? Let's streamline it a little bit. Boulder in the green dragon behind the bar. Just remembering from previously doing this. In order, though, I'm going to be going by the mushroom tent probably first. So inside the mushroom tent. And then Opalessa Sandheaver on the metal stage. Okay. So that seems good enough for now. Let's go ahead and get that in here for a nosy request. Watch out for any extra new lines or weird characters at the end there. Okay, the final 3 of these are shopping lists. And the way these work is you're going to go around the little market here and you're going to be grabbing things. And for me, because I'm always starting right here, it's easiest to just go in a clockwise fashion around the market. Okay, cabbage if they need any, apple if they need any, meat, bread, onions, and then cheese. You could totally do it in the reverse order. Just going to have to arbitrarily pick one, and if we're standing right here, cabbage is right there. So I'm just going to do it in a clockwise order. And so for me, what I'm looking for is, do we do the thing, and if so, which of the options? So the first one, quest a shopping list. So let's go ahead and grab these items and go ahead and first reorder them kind of canonically. So we have cabbage, small, and just to make life easier, it's the one on the right. There's 2 cabbages that are large on the left, one on the right. Great. So we're going to say small, parentheses, right, just in case you're only looking for the direction. Okay, next up, that was the small-headed cabbage. We have the green apple. Now, it's funny, the apple, you either have no apple or green apple. The red apples are never used. So apple, green. Now, the apples are kind of mixed up together, and you know, there's a red, there's a couple of greens, there's red, there's a green, and so I'm not going to bother putting left or right for this purpose. It's just a green one. If you're already green colorblind to the point where you can't distinguish between those, I could definitely see wanting to go ahead and say, something more than that. But for now, I'm just going to leave it to just say green. Okay, next up is the meat. In this case, they're going to want the pork. That's the one on the left. So meat, that's the pork, which is the one on the left. Now, both of these rate to count as bacon, and one of the recipes takes no meat, one takes pork, and one takes bacon. So I'm just going to call left and right. And, if you're looking at that and you're like, but what about the middle one? It's also bacon. It's fine. Do it if you want. Little Redhead asks, if you hover over the apple, does it color? I am almost certain that if you hover over it, you're going to get a tooltip. The wiki has links to these, so this is, you can see in the description, a tart green apple, almost certainly what you would see in-game if you hovered over that item. So that's another thing you can do. And once you know, red is at the very left, and then green is, the 2 next to it. Even if you had color seeing issues, you can just go left and next to left. Okay, bread. We have bread. One of them is a hearty brown bread, and one of them's a light, airy white bread. Great, left and right, same thing. So we have a bread, loaf of white bread. Cool. White, which is to the right side. Next up is our onion. It's over here tucked in the back here. We can see the white onion is left, the pink red onion is to the right. Onion, red, which is right. And finally, the block of cheese grommet. Over here we have a mild cheese on the... Oh, mild is yellow cheese on the right, and I guess the more pungent cheese is on the left. So yellow, which is... interesting. Well, I have mistaken one of these. Hang on just a sec. I think I had a cheat sheet. Which one are we doing? A shopping list. Great. Bread was right. Red was right. Okay, so apparently the mild cheese is on the left. Unfortunately, you can't hover over it until you've got the quest going. But cheese, which is yellow, which is mild, which is left. I remembered from my research and from doing the quest a couple of times on my alts that you never have all left or all right for these last three. It's always two of one, one of the other. So right, right, left, 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 right, something like that. So, okay, so we have our basic cheat sheet for what we want for this quest. Let's go ahead and pull it on in to the quest text here and see what that looks like. Oops. So unload, reload. Let's use that /festival command to bring back the UI I accidentally closed. Okay, so we have a nosy request. We have the locations. Oh. That text wraps. Let's go ahead and fix it. In green dragon behind the bar. Come back in for a nosy request. Great, they're all one line. Kind of blurs together there. It might be tempting to go ahead and space them out a little bit. And that's easy enough to do. You can just add extra /ends, which stands for a new line. It's a special character. So nosy request. Okay, maybe that's a little bit more readable, maybe not. But I'll leave it spaced out like that for right now. We had a shopping list: cabbage small right, apple green, meat, pork left, bread white right, onion red right, and then cheese yellow left. So that's our little cheat sheet for just running around and doing this loop real fast. Okay, we had the stew, we had the apple shopping. Now we just need a vendor list and a market list. Great. Coming back in to our wiki, we have only 4 items. Let's go ahead and bring those in. It's funny, the wiki this time is like 1 yellow onion. But let's go ahead and again restore this to a canonical order. In fact, let's go ahead and just go ahead and use this as a template. In fact, since it's a template, I'm going to copy that off for later. Okay, so we have this template. Cabbage, this list does not request any cabbage. None. Apples, green. Okay. Meat, none. Bread, we have white bread, which is on the right. Onion, we have yellow, which is on the left. And we have cheese. We have sharp, orange. Okay. Which is on the right. Because the mild one's on the left, the sharp one's on the right. So I guess the left one's a brie kind of soft cheese maybe. Okay, so there is our little cheat sheet for whatever quest we happen to be on. A market list, great. And we'll just do a vendor list here real fast. So a vendor list. We go ahead and grab that template that we've got. So cabbage, we have large. And remember, cabbages are nice and cleanly defined. We've got the 1 small one on the right and the 2 large ones on the left. There we go. So that's our cabbage. Apple, none. Meat, pack of bacon. Remember, the pork's on the left. The other 2 are bacon, so I'm just going to say it's on the right. And if you want to grab the one in the middle, yeah, more power to you. All right, that was the bacon. Bread, we have the wheat or brown bread. So brown, which is on the left. All right, we have onion. We need yellow. That's also on the left, as we remember. Yep. And then finally, the block of sharp cheese, which is also on the right. And that's our cheat sheet for that quest. All right, let's go ahead and slot that in, and then reload our plugin to get those changes. So a market list, great. Cabbage none, apple green, meat none, bread white, all that looks great. And then a vendor list was the other one. Cabbage large, apple none, and then we have a little bit of everything else. So that's all 6 of these vendor customer quests right here. So if we go ahead and just minimize down some stuff, great. So now we are set up to give this a try. The automatic quest detection system should be fine, but just in case, let's switch this over to Fat Mare, and then go ahead and pick up Staffing the Market. Where are those simpletons? I'm short of hands, as you can clearly see, would be so kind as to help me. I would. Accept. Okay, here are the 6 that we need to assist. And just for consistency, because I keep doing this, I'm going to put the festival buddy over here on my left so I can kind of see what's going on. First customer, apple shopping, accept. We see, search the apple crates until you can't. Well, sounds like a plan. I actually have a fair number of apples in my inventory already. Remember, you can... Oh, I found the golden apple that I was looking for. I was going to say, when you are doing this, remember you have 3 crates here, and you can queue up actions in the game. So you can right-click one, right-click the next while you're doing the first, right-click the third, and just kind of go around keeping up. Just right-click the last one you did, and you'll just automatically move on to the next crate. And I find that goes a little bit faster than trying to open up the same crate and wait until it's fully done and then open up the same crate. So you can do it with 2 crates, you can do it with all 3 if you want to be a little fancy, but it feels like a time saver. Cool, apple shopping is done. Next one. Remember, this is the recipe. So the recipe, table by the oven, great. Table by the oven, grab the recipe. Beef, southeast stall. Okay, we'll come over here to the southeast. Here it is. Donkey's a little in the way. We'll set the donkey to go away. All right, salt, table by the oven. And the quest is not helpful. It just says find the next ingredient. So normally you would have the ingredient list open, and it would guide you to what you need. And you kind of just have to find it, I think. It doesn't even tell you where you can get salt. A handful of salt from the cooking area. Okay, the place where the oven is the cooking area. Meat stall, you have to know where the meat stall is. It's not going to tell you where that is. Bowl full of water, try the well. Okay, so all we're really doing is parsing this every single time with a little bit more streamlined version of water well in the center. Carrots, northeast stall. So we're just condensing that on down. All right, carrots. Now after this, we're going to go get that bacon on the shelf back there and up to the mushrooms. Interacting with these does dismount you, so I'm going to mount up right after I get the bacon, just to get up the hill a little bit faster. Alright, let's go. I was going to replace this with one of the cosmetics I picked up this festival. This robe's nice enough, but I was really hoping for something a lot more visible, and this top part doesn't dye. And so I'm mostly rose-colored, except for, the very middle of me where everyone's looking. So it wasn't quite as good as I wanted. There's a similar style robe over on Anor that I really liked. I was trying to emulate that, but that's not available until like level 85 or something. It's Dunland stuff. Okay, we did the mushrooms, and then we're back stew pot on ground by the oven. Great, made a delicious stew. Drop it off, right on to the next one. Now we only have 12 minutes left on this wrapper quest, staffing the market, so better get going. All right, we got to find those 3 workers. One of them's in the green dragon behind the bar. Now I recommend, if you're doing more than just this, at this point, hopefully you have already talked to Blewett Goldworthy to start the frozen sweet cream quest, because among other things, that will send you into the inn. So you get the fresh cream, you get the fresh fruit. Fortunately, the frozen cream in your inventory doesn't melt ever. You have a very special pocket. But now we're going to go into the Green Dragon and both get the worker behind the bar, but also get the honey from Barmy here. So grab that frozen sweet cream honey, jump on over here, and try to Oh no, they're already in use? Yes, timed it. When a worker runs away, there's around a 10 to 15 seconds before they come back and shirk their work again. So if you're just unlucky, you'll be just behind the person who sends the worker away, and then you'll move on to the next one, and the worker won't be there, and you have to wait, and then you move on to the next one. That can happen. I don't see that person running over here. They may have just done it in a different order. I was going to wait for them, but nope, don't see them. And of course, the final one is over on the middle stage, just on over here, where you might do fireworks any other festival. All right. So it's just those three workers. They're very close by, especially if you know where they are. So having this little reminder, just very handy instead of having to find them. Though I think they do still show up on the map if you look for quest rings there. Okay, so that was the first three, which are just the miscellaneous task kind of thing. And now we have these sort of more scavenger hunty things. All right, so we've got a shopping list. Let's run through it. We've got the cabbage, which is small to the right. We'll run over to the apple, which we're getting a green. After that is meat, pork on the left. And then we just have the other three. I tend not to really think very hard about this, so I just go right, right, left. All right. But if you prefer thinking about the colors or whatever it is about the cheese, soft versus sharp, totally fine. That's why I wanted both of them in this list. But that was it. That was the 6 items we needed with this handy dandy reference. We're going to come on over here to the next one. No cabbage. Let's go get that green apple. Never a red apple. It's so sad. Red undelicious. All right, no meat. Let's go on here, and we have a right, left, right. Oops. Make sure you click the right one. If you do pick up the wrong ingredient, you will have to start over. You fail the quest, but you can pick it up immediately. Final quest, we do require the large cabbage. No apples, though. We're going to go grab one of those bacons on the right. And then for bread, onion, and cheese, we have left, left, right. All right, and then back. And that is the 6 staffing the market quests. You automatically complete manning the market, staffing the market after 15 minutes. You cannot make it go any faster. So I recommend if you are just trying to get your daily 10 in or maybe a few extra, start here, start in Bywater, get staffing the market, do those 6. You probably have almost 10 minutes left if you're not busy talking while you're doing it. And then those other 9 minutes can run out while you do stuff at the party tree. You can easily do another 6 quests there. And that will get you a total of 13 quests plus the wrapper. And that's not counting any of the fishing or send some farm bem furlong, any of that. So that's an easy 13 quests to do. This is at the point where I would mix the dessert. I would travel to Kinship for a fast travel to the party tree and get going on those. But the real purpose of this was testing the festival buddy here. And so we were able to test those 6. I'm going to switch this back to Fat Mare so they make progress of this on this. Let's see. Because I've got that in my inventory too. Okay. So that is a whirlwind tour through adding quests that only require textual reminders of what you're doing. In this case, the Fat Mare quest, it's just a reminder of the 6 different types of things you might ask for, or do nothing is the textual reminder. But for those reminder delivery quests, I just find it very handy to have it in the order that I'm running around the market, and what do I need to do? Left, right, nothing. All right, use wine. This was too fine a dish to be eaten without an accompaniment. So, I was thinking to myself that I can't think of any other Farmers Faire related quests that would really benefit from this level of assistance. Like, certainly there's plenty of pick up and deliver quests or retrieve quests over at the party tree. But you just make a big loop there. You duck down into Hobbiton for the one group of people who need to be cooled off. But it doesn't really feel like I don't know. It feels like I do all of those as a single group instead of individually. I don't grab one of those quests and go do it, and then go grab another quest. I just do all 6 of them pretty simultaneously, and really 5 plus defeat the heat. So yeah, I'm not convinced that there's a usefulness up there. But yeah, let me know if anyone has any opinions on that in the chat. That they're like, oh man, this one quest is just so difficult without having to look it up. Let's see. We need 2 more for the mayor here, and then yes, in chat, Little Redhead pointed out that if you are just trying to get your 10 quests, but not necessarily do anything about them, you can duck over to the Bywater fishing area, grab one of the quests like the Matham Swap, and just let the time run out while you're doing everything else. Let's see. Arthur. Oh, we talked briefly about Bounder rounds last week, scolding the drunk hobbits. You pop up a graphic whenever someone says a drunk thing. That's an interesting one. I haven't done the drunk hobbits yet.
Would I take a moment of your time?
All right, that's Bounder rounds. Bounder rounds. Okay. Looks like the Arthur's putting more good comments into chat there. Yeah, so you put up a graphic whenever someone says a drunk thing, along with some text to look for in the chat bubbles. For instance, vegetables or schlupper or squirrel. Yeah, quite a squirrel. There we go. Yeah, and we can see over here on the wiki that the keywords to look for are bolded. So taste versus waste, squirrel versus quarrel, and so on. And it looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, around 9 different things to look for. Let's see. Let's go ahead and accept that. So, I made a daring trip to Farmer Maggot's field to taste a munch room or 2. Oh, I should grab some wine. Thanks, festival buddy. Okay, may the hair on your toes grow thick and curly. We know, of course, the wrong one is the toes in your hair. Now, I think it's good to alert that, hey, there is a wrong one near you. But of course, they're all party goers, and so there's still a lot of manual finding that we'll need to do. But absolutely, I think we could go ahead and search for things. So let me go ahead and finish off the mayor here. All right, use water. It was super effective. Great.
What do you mean?
All right, so let's pop on in to the code. Oh, let's go over to our source control and maybe take a snapshot of what we've done successfully so far, because we don't want to lose that. So we have our string additions. So added staffing the market quests. And that's the apple shopping, fresh savory mushroom stew, and nosy request, all of those. And of course, the Fat Mare line was changed because of adding a semicolon. So we're going to stage those. And then, remembering to avoid these French strings that keep getting messed up, we're going to go ahead and add in the staff in the market quest, and this is the description that shows up in the window. Awesome. So we're going to stage that. Added staff in the market quest, and might actually say Farmers Faire, staff in the market quests. There we go. And again, just reverting those French changes. Don't know why those happen. Probably an encoding issue. Okay, so now we're going to go into the chat logger where those other changes are. Because where are we seeing this? That's sort of the first question. So if I create a new tab and go ahead and change filters, right now there are no filters. So if we assume those hobbits are doing it in say, I burped, pardon me, excellent, that is a thing a hobbit would say. Then we can, yep, there we go, another one. Ouch, too much pepper. I made a daring trip to taste a mushroom. Cool, we're in the right place. So I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that tab. Don't need that anymore. Egg Arthur confirms in the Say channel and speaking anonymously. You can't just click them to highlight them, which, you know, that would have been nice. So we want to make sure we are in the Filter Say channel. Okay. So there are... I think I'm done with that being here. We're going to go ahead and save that, come back in, and did we... Yep, okay, we got rid of everything that was debug code. Okay, so Farmers Faire, Fat Hobbit / Will Whitfoot. And then also, we want a Farmers Faire, and this is, what was it? Bounder rounds. So we can do the same thing here. If selected quest equals, we're just doing lang quests, and that's going to be Farmers Faire. And well, we don't actually have that yet. So let's come on in and add that in. I think I like the idea of just doing stuff that's not staffing the market and then stuff that is staffing the market. So we'll go ahead and do Bounder rounds. And the English name of that quest is something. When in doubt, just copy paste. Don't try to type it yourself if it's going to be matched in a pattern. So there we go. We have Bounder rounds here, and we just need the corresponding quest string so that we don't throw an exception if that gets selected. Hey, Kato. Hey, Casper. What are you up to? I wonder if I can trick them into joining me on the table here. These are our cat approved treats in there. Casper. Yeah, you want a treat? Boy, you seem groggy. Did you just wake up?
I think they were upstairs sleeping.
Casper? You want more? Yeah? Alright, well maybe when he's more awake later. Okay, so we have Bounder's rounds. And we're going to do the same stuff here. We need that string. And it could be empty. But I suspect we're going to put something in there. In fact, right now, for testing purposes, let's just go ahead and put Bounder's rounds in there so we can sort out what's going on again. Great. Need some consistent tapping, and we're good. All right, let's go ahead and come back into the plugin manager. Great. And pull back the Farmers Faire window. And we're going to come on into Bounders Rounds, and it's all hooked up. Hey, you. Yeah, you seem very groggy. I can't imagine sleeping in all this heat is helping. It's right here. No, not the other hand. The one that's holding the tree. I'm not convinced his eyes are great. There you go, Kato. Okay, so we have Bounders Rounds, and now I think textually it might be useful just to include these things in bold. Or maybe slightly more than that. So let's go ahead and have hands that smell like cat treats. Okay, so I think what I want is the start. A toast. And we're looking for hair. A toast is toes in your hair. Okay. Next up, we're looking for a beautiful day, which is fresh licked vegetables. Yeah. Well, this is just the visual, but I've been reminded that I should copy paste when possible. Okay. We have over here, I burped. And in fact, it's so short. I burped, and the text that we care about is ha ha ha. But that's like the entire thing. Okay, next up. I came all the way. Well, that's going to be I came and all the day. I got into quite a squirrel. I made a daring trip, which is going to be Muntrim. That mare, which is going to be Schlupper. All right, the Farmers Faire is going to be Pigs Judging. And finally, this fair is going to be Old Bad Megan's. So that's a quick guide reference that we can include in the textual form. And let's go ahead and do that here. So that's Bounders Rounds. Okay. Unload, reload, and we've got our Bounders Rounds. You know, the fact that those quests aren't in alphabetical order is starting to grate on my nerves. I wonder if I have a to-do file here. I do. So, what was one of them? Auto show UI for some quests was a thought, but also show quests in drop down in alphabetical order. Cool. We'll just save that as a thought for later. All right, so we had, we've edited the Bounders Round string. So we have the reference for all of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 variations. And we can come into the chat logger, and now we have a Bounder Rounds, settings, language, then end. So now if that quest is active, we can go ahead and do stuff. Now, part of me wishes for a variation on how Festival Buddy works, which is to say, if you have the quest, even if you haven't selected it in the UI, then we should pop up alerts and do whatever. Like the mayor, you could be doing the mayor while doing other things. And I think that'd be much easier if the UI just popped up, hey, go grab some wine. And okay, I'll start picking the cabbage, grab some wine, dump it on the mayor, then go back to grabbing cabbage. And right now, the Festival Buddy has very much a one quest active at a time mentality. Also, the alert system is kind of a singleton, so you can only have one alert showing at a time, stuff like that. And so it's in my mind, and so therefore I should put it out of my mind into the to-do, support multiple quests active at the same time, similar to the quest log. Note, alert would have to stop being a singleton. As a kind of plays it into my, so a singleton is just a way of referring to something where there's only one of the thing. So right now, Festival Buddy only has one alert up on the screen at a time. If you make a new alert, the old one goes away. And I think, in general, if you think, oh, here's a good place for a singleton, you're probably wrong, and you're also going to be regretting it later. There's a few cases, maybe. But singletons are basically global variables, which makes them kind of brittle. And oftentimes, when you think, I couldn't possibly ever have more than one of these things, that just, you will eventually. Things grow, things get more complicated. Anyway, so singletons, I'm not a fan. Every once in a while they solve a legitimate problem, but I feel like they get overused. Anyway, on to the actual problem of the day here. Okay, so we have our chat logger. We are able to go ahead and do stuff, but what we're looking for is going to be in a list of things, and we could probably take inspiration from the quest channel here for the Will Whitfoot stuff. So if the festival is Farmers Faire, and if the quest is, so that's an interesting thing, we're not doing the festival stuff. I am tempted to rectify that while I'm making other changes, because the selected festival is just an integer, and integer comparisons are wicked fast. So while we're in here filtering everything for the quest channel, which isn't that many, we're definitely not doing any processing we don't have to. And then in the say channel, where there's a bunch of says happening, we're not looking at the festival, and that makes me a little sad. So I think that's actually a really good thing to just go ahead and do. So added bounder around strings. No, I'm actually going to save that because there's going to be more. Okay, so what we're looking for is the if selected festival equals something. And so in filter say, dancing is every festival, so I'm not going to worry about that. But we have if selected festival equals anniversary, then we can go ahead and wrap that around the selected quest for fireworks and brie. There we go. Next up, we can do the same thing, but for Farmers Faire, and we can wrap each of the Farmers Faire checks in here. We don't need to have multiples of the same if it's Farmers Faire. And then finally, if the selected festival equals hobnanigans. Oh, we already did that. That was some new stuff that I had done. Okay, so if selected festival equals hobnanigans, perfect. Farmers Faire, both of these, and anniversary. And there could be a lot of text coming in through the say channel. This just feels like a responsible thing to do as a plugin author, which is when you are getting pinged every time something is said in chat, you want to fall out and do nothing as fast as possible. So in this case, If dance parent is not visible, okay. And here, okay, integer check, integer check, done. So 3 integer checks, not too bad. I am curious about the dance thing though. Dance. Oh. Dance 1, dance 2, dance 3. Fun. Okay. That's fun. So if you've got that up, then you'll be told when to go to dancing. Oh, I should play around with that. Okay. So we're getting in the say. If we are on Bounders rounds, then we're going to go ahead and do something. But I do want to take inspiration. Oh, I want to commit that before I make too many more changes. Check for correct festival in handle say. Okay, we'll go ahead and commit that. Almost all of that. We want all of that except the Bounders rounds stuff. That's going to be more confusion than it's worth. So, Bounders rounds. Just going ahead and snip that out. And then the chat logger, we don't have to worry about trying to do that manually. All right, and then that's all Bounders rounds. Great. Perfect. Partial commits, I'm very fond of them in the UI. It's way better than having to manually pull your changes in and out and make sure you only commit a little bit at a time. But every once in a while, it's just easier to just delete the thing. Okay, so Farmers Faire Bounders rounds. Let's take inspiration from the Fat Hobbit here. Oh. That's funny. Should be fat there. Is in say. If there's a string match on that, then we handle this. Fair enough. So what are we looking for? We're looking for nothing. Something that we saw before. Let's go ahead and create that tab again. Rename it. It's a say tab. And say, there we go. So we don't even have the name of the hobbit saying it. There's no party goer, possibly because if you include the name, it just automatically makes a selector out of it. As Arthur noted, this is anonymous. And so what we're really looking for is that the entire text that we get matches what we're looking for. Okay, fair enough. That does suggest that we're going to be including, there's going to be a new line at the end of this text that comes in that we get. Now we can either do a substring to strip it off or just include that new line in what we are looking to match. Either way. And we can confirm that that's what's happening by simply turbine.shell.writeLine. And we're going to go ahead and include a noticeable starting character, and then cmessage, and then an end character. And then we can see that that new line is in there. So, come into Bounders rounds. Great. All right, so we can say, see, Bounder Boffin says, hey, who did that? But also, this fair doesn't hold a candle, old, bad, Megan's is. And we can see that new line character has snuck in there. Not a problem. So, I think in quest strings, we're going to want to go ahead and add in all of these things that we're looking for, and hope that there are not any textual inaccuracies. All right, real question, are they in strings or quest strings? They are in strings. Okay, so Farmers Faire, and these are Bounder rounds, I think it was. Bounder rounds. and that is party goers equals. Okay, so again, we just have English here. And in this English, we have, well, it's a good question. I got to talk about showing an icon. I don't know if that was meant to be a separate icon for each one, but because we're working in the framework of Festival Buddy, which can only show one announcement at a time, I think what we're really just interested in is, hey, this is a thing. So I think what we want to do is to copy these sayings in. Actually, we only really want every other one, don't we? Ah, well. And then from these, we are seeing that initial quote sign, yes. We're seeing a final quote sign. So we just want to go ahead and, first of all, we're going to put all these in double quotes. But we'll also put a new line character at the end so we can just blindly match. What else are we looking for here? We're looking for open bracket, close bracket, okay. And we can actually just say equals true, maybe. That is a thing that will satisfy the desire that these are keys and there's a value there. And so we're really just saying, if the value of this is true, if the value, then do a thing. Okay, so let's give that a try. Okay, so we have all of the things we're looking for, and we can just do a quick lookup to say if this thing is true. So there's no actual pattern matching going on. So we can say if, well, where are these things? This is strings, this is other, okay? So if lang.other.Farmers Faire bounders rounds partygoers, and we're just checking CMessage, then do a thing. Turbine.shell.writeLine found drunk hobbit, and we'll just go ahead and concatenate that together with the CMessage. Again, just adding little character at the very beginning and the end of the string, just make sure we understand what's in that string. Okay, so we're going back into bounders rounds. And in our plugin chat here, if something comes across, we should see it. And of course, not every partygoer is drunk, so we have to wait for one of them to misbehave. All right, and where is supper? Old bad Megan's. Excellent. So we didn't see that, so something is wrong. Great. Okay, so this fair doesn't hold a candle to old bad Megan's party. We're going to see what's different between that and this string here. Nothing. Oh, hang on. It is writing out. Cool, okay. This fair doesn't hold a candle to old bad Megan's. I must have just missed it. Excellent. Came all the way to waste the victuals. Excellent. Oh, but here we have an I burped part of me. No, that was from before. Excellent. We're not catching it. And so let's have some debugging. So if, oh, of course, we do need to have that language in there. The setting.language. That may be all that we need for this. Founders rounds. Okay, so we have loaded, so any new stuff should come in here. Found a drunk hobbit. Ah, beautiful day to celebrate. The smell of fresh licked vegetables. Now, more importantly than... Well, I'm curious what will happen if we just do an alert here. I'm worried that the text would stretch across the screen, but let's find out. So we're looking for an alert. Excellent. And the real question, another question I have is how long do these texts stay valid? And I think the answer is until they say something else. But is there a minimum time, like 20 seconds, which is an often used festival time? Is there a minimum time that they're valid until they say another thing? Old Mad Baggins. Mushroom. Supper. Alright, I made a daring trip. Mushrooms. So that one happened at 14 seconds after. So the real question is there a time at which this will happen again? Can we pop something up like a 20-second timer? So I'm just going to see. It's actually already been 20 seconds. Is it a full minute? Well, or they'll get despawned because someone will chastise them. I wonder if there's a mandatory. I see a comment from Arthur, but it's behind my clock here. So I'm just going to let it play out for a full minute and see if in about 5 seconds they say something different. Oh, interesting. It may be random. There may be a cooldown. I'll only pay more attention to that. Arthur put a cooldown on it for their other plugin, so that users doesn't get whiplash from too many drunk hobbits. That is an actual benefit of the alerter being a singleton, because if you get a new drunk hobbit, it'll just replace the existing text. I'm going to go ahead and just put up maybe 10 seconds. Oftentimes in a busy market, you just don't have that long to get to a hobbit before someone's already pounced on them and sent them away. So I think that'll be a fine starting point. So we're going to go ahead and do an alert. And we're going to copy this alert block here for a minute. Okay, so we're going to start with just C message. I think we might want to trim that down, but we're going to start there. Seconds to show. Seconds to show equals, not var, that's C#, local. We're just going to call that 10. Show remaining time, local show remaining time equals false. And we're not going to bother with a callback or a cancellation token. Okay, let's give that a go. So make sure we move over to Bounders Rounds and then see what that alerter looks like, or alert, I should say. Again, just having to wait till we see one. Taste the victuals. There we go. I came all the way to waste the victuals. And we can see, and over here we go. So, remember that you can chase away the same drunkard more than once if you are fast. No reason to only get credit for one of them when you can get 2 or even 3, as I just did. Awesome. I wonder if that letter... Nope, okay. So, oh hey, a beautiful day. This is a lot of text, and I think this is way too much text. I think we just want to use that bolded text, and we can do that in one go here, actually. So in these strings, instead of using true, let's use the text we want to highlight. So for that, we're going to come on back to the wiki page. And let's swap one switch. Okay, so just at the top here, we have toes in your hair. Okay. That's what we're looking for. Next one, fresh licked vegetables. I mean, if you're eating vegetables, they kind of by definition are freshly licked. Ha ha ha. Okay, waste the victuals. All right, quite a squirrel. Munchroom. Well, you know what? I'm going to say taste a munchroom. Same thing, where is a schlupper? We'll get all of that. Pig's judge. And finally, old bad Megans. Cool. So now we are looking not for that to be true, although it will still be true. But what we want is local text to show equals this. We'll just capture that off in one go. And then if text to show, that is if it is not null, then let's go ahead and show it. So if that's the case, we're going to come back in here, unload, reload, and make sure we select bounders rounds. Be bad, hobbits. Aha! Fresh licked vegetables. Nope. There we go. Nope, that's picked. Oh, maybe someone already shooed them away. That's another reason I want to just show it for a few seconds. Alright, toes in your hair. There we go. So we got 2 out of that one. I didn't click fast enough on there. Old bad Megans. There we go, in the distance. I'm finding that much easier. I'm only going to do this one time. I do want to go ahead and have this displayed on screen one more time. But yeah, just seeing the thing that you're looking for pop up on screen and then you can find the chat bubble with it, I think that's really going to work well for me. Waste the vittles. Who's talking? There we go. Waste the vittles over here. Wait, which of you? Okay, this one. And toes in your hair, actually. And old bad Megans. There's so many drunk partygoers over here. Okay, I think that's really good. I think great remembering, Arthur. I forgot to write that down. That's definitely worthwhile for calling out the thing that you're looking for. Taste a munchroom.
Wow, the gall of some folk.
And just popping something up for 10 seconds to let you know that there is a drunk hobbit around here somewhere. But you do have to find them still. Okay, that's awesome. Well, okay, now is that all of the Farmers Faire's quests that need to be looked at? Interesting. Arthur says, oh, can send you the French and different strings. That would be great. If you can ping me on Discord, maybe you already have, that would be perfect. He said, note that the mushroom one has no wrong version in French. That's delightful. I mean, the French would obviously know better than to mispronounce a mushroom or champignon. Or something like that. Once again, my French accent or French pronunciation is not very good. Okay, so is that the final quest that should be documented in here? Certainly, I don't think the chicken quest would benefit other than like grab the eggs, which the quest already tells you to. Mushroom again, stay away from the dogs, but that's what the quest tells you to do. I haven't done the overworked supplier here, or I should say, I have done it last year, but I tend not to do it because if I'm just looking to get in, do a bunch of quests and get out, then doing transit to and from other places just feels like it slows me down, and so I don't tend to focus on that. And then the drunkard one, you're just throwing stuff at the bounders, but they don't say anything worth speaking of, I think. Okay. I've convinced myself that I am happy with the state of the fair here, and up on the hill, nothing comes to mind that could really benefit. I mean, documenting the locations of things is fine, but they don't feel like they're hard to get for the most part. I'll think about that. Maybe that'll be a supplementary one later. But maybe we're at a good place where we can just release this. It'll only be valid in English mode for now, but maybe I can go ahead and incorporate those translations from Egg Arthur in a future release so that it works for English and French and German. Maybe. I can at least get started on it. Documenting what has changed between this and the base may take more time because I think I've been pretty bad about updating a README. We'll see. Wow, that's a really rough README. We'll make it better. Okay. So the kind of README that I'm looking for is going to be, let's see. Great. Let's go ahead and check this. So in a version, just human readable, what's different at a high level kind of change? And the real question is, have I released any Festival Buddy stuff yet? So LOTRO, or is it all new? LOTRO interface. So we're going to come on in, first of all, to list my interfaces, but also for Festival Buddy. All right, my interfaces, Festival, nope, I have not yet released any of my changes. Here's the Festival Buddy by Galahad, awesome. Let's go ahead and download a fresh version of that so we know exactly what's changed since then. So I'm going to go ahead and extract that. And now that we have this, we can go ahead and compare. So we're going to go into Documents, Lord of the Rings Online, we're in Plugins, and we're going to compare with that. So on the left is what it was, on the right is everything that's changed. So first of all, we're going to need an updated .plugin file to show that it has been patched, I believe. So let's do that. Haven't associated that file type yet. Okay, so we're going to call this 1.4.5.1, and we're going to go ahead and add in Farmers Faire. Is that when it was released, or when the... Yeah, that's probably when it was released. Okay, Farmers Faire support from 2020, why not? Actually, that raises a question. There's summer stuff, and it's still currently split out. Consolidating that together could make sense. Haven't really gone through that. Okay, and then we also have Hobnanigans 2022. I did that one off stream, one Hobnanigans weekend. I was just like, I really want to have a Hobnanigans interface for Festival Buddy. So it exists. Let's see. In the festival window, if you go to Hobnanigans, then we get a totally different interface. And what it does is it tracks the score of each of the teams that is playing, and also shows you how much time is left in the game. And also, you have a barter window. And so, yeah, it shows you how much time is left, how much time is left until you get your next ability, how much time is left in the game in general, with just a long bar, and also all the things you can barter for, which is, you know, a handy bit. Though I feel like the barter button is in the wrong place. Now let's satisfy my curiosity. So in the Festival Buddy, if we have Hobnanigans, we do need to go through a sequence of things for the Hobnanigans UI to work. So we're going to start a Field 2 quest with the Flying Feathers. Whoop. Awesome. We are waiting. We're going to go ahead and Field 2, start the game on Field 2. Awesome. There we go. So that's our timer. And if we want to go ahead and score the Flying Feathers on Field 2, yay! Oh no, the Steel Beaks have scored! And that sort of thing. So that's what the UI looks like. And because it knows we are playing as the Flying Feathers, it goes ahead and highlights that for us. And we can go ahead and advance the time down to the 6 minute. Cool. We just got our new skill. Down to the 2 minutes. Cool. Just got our new skill. And then finally ended the game. And there we go. End of the game score for that game would be Flying Feathers 4, Steel Beaks 2. Good job, Flying Feathers. So that's the basic interface. It's just a scoreboard. The announcer will tell you, oh, Flying Feathers are ahead by 2 or 3 or whatever. They actually give up after a while and then just said, ahead by mini goals. But it's kind of nice to have an actual scoreboard instead of just you're up by 2, you're down by 3. And it's very helpful for me to have a live timer instead of just having to mentally calculate based on the last thing the announcer said, because there's so much announcer chatter on the fields. It's so much easier for a plugin to just pull that field information out. So that's that. I definitely want to include Hobnanigans here. Okay. Anniversary, spring, summer, Farmers Faire, Farmers Faire, cool. Okay, so we've gone ahead and updated the festivalbuddy.plugin file. Those should no longer be the same. Great. And then in Festival Buddy, what's changed besides everything? All right, so these rules are not helping. There we go. All right, so we've definitely added the quick slots for Fireworks and Brie. We've got the Farmers Faire, Hobnanigans, and Midsummer backgrounds. Do we? I don't think I did anything with Midsummer, but we have the image for when we want to do something. Okay. And that skill border? Yes, good. Those are all good things to add. And let's go ahead and start making a better README file. So, we have the README here, and we have our inspiration. So first of all, what version is this? Great. So we're going for V 1451 changes. Added anniversary fireworks in Brie UI. Excellent. Added Hobnanigans UI, and added Farmers Faire requests. Those are the things that I know are in there. Let's see what else might have happened. Alert. We did this actually quite recently. Do you want to show the remaining time? Should there be a callback when it's done? Is there a cancellation token? Still, I'm not very happy with how I wrote the cancellation token, but at least it does cancel. So that's an important part. Okay, barter items. We added barter items for Hobnanigans. Haven't done that for Farmers Faire yet. That could be interesting to have. I can't say it'd be interesting to do on stream, but it would be interesting to have. So let's go ahead and come on in here to the to-do. Okay, add Farmers Faire barter items. Great. That all falls in under adding Hobnanigans, I think. So nothing too much to speak of here. Barter window. Oh yes, there were so many barter items for Hobnanigans that I really wanted to have the ability to have separation here. Otherwise it was just one long list and you just didn't know where they came from. So I added the concept of a couple of header items. And so this was divider 1 and divider 2. If it was divider 1, it was bigger. If it was divider 2, it was a little bit smaller. That's all. So those are just custom dividers. And that was purely a Hobnanigans management thing because there's just so many. And like this reward boost only, is totally different than everything else. So, excellent. Love it. Barter window. Chat logger. That's all the new stuff we've got. So, we've got Hobnanigans, Farmers Faire. Great. Anniversary for Fireworks and Brie. Farmers Faire, Hobnanigans, Fireworks. Cool. We know about all that. Globals. Okay, where does the event quick slot go? And the Hobnanigans window. I'm not sure what's going on with the Hobnanigans window. Was that left over and doesn't actually do anything? Let's find out. Function draw Hobnanigans window. Okay, but what is that? Did I think I was going to do a completely separate window? What is going on here? I mean, it certainly feels like that's happening. But the position, it's a control. What's the parent? Okay, so we do a Hobnanigans here. Okay, so we set the parent of Hobnanigans here and set its position. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that right there I think has meaningless. And if that's meaningless, and I think it is, yeah, okay. Then there's no real adding stuff here. I think I originally thought it was going to be a separate window, and it just ended up being easier to not be a separate window. Just to completely have a different UI in here instead. So, cool, we don't need those settings, I think. Unload, reload, great. Fun, okay. This is a reason why I like to go ahead and do a review of what's changed, because sometimes you just see something that's like, why is that even in there? And the answer is, well, it was in there once upon a time and no longer. It's like an appendix. It's just time has moved on. Okay. Images. We have the quick slot back. We have that skill border. Great. We have Farmers Faire, Hobnanigans. Great. Main. We added in the drag bar, the timer control, options window. Yep, fireworks event quick slots. Hobnanigans. Great. Yes. Oh, that's good. Main window. Okay. Highly recommend you go ahead and define variable names for these special escape sequences. It just makes life so much easier. So we have defined those. Hobnanigans. Cool. We're adding that in. We ended up repeating some of this, and so I called a separate function. But I wonder, because I needed to toggle the visibility of fireworks as well. Cool. Cool. So those get pulled out. Excellent. Hide UI elements that aren't useful for Hobnanigans. Yes. So only show stuff that's good if for Hobnanigans if you're Hobnanigans. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Yeah. I don't know if this is the right way to do Hobnanigans, but yeah, it was a way, and it works. All right, set visibility. Again, don't use... I really recommend against using like numbers like 268435635 for an action. Just name it, key action toggle HUD, it's fine. It's much more readable. And then same thing, 145 for your action. Why not just call it key action escape? So much easier. Then you really have comments that stop meaning anything. If action equals escape, then handles the escape button. Oh, this comment suddenly doesn't actually add a lot. If action equals toggle HUD, then handles the F12 button. No, it handles the toggle HUD button. Just usually is F12. Okay, we have more selected festival equals Hobnanigans. Great. Close those helper windows. And then same thing. Let's put a special case here for brief fireworks. Show that, otherwise hide it. I don't like special cases, but I keep adding things that aren't just a simple quest text, and so it's a work in progress. Okay, we're gonna say that's good for main win. I didn't see anything objectionable in there. Okay, same thing. Hey, instead of 1, 2, and 3, we just have spring, summer, and harvest math. So much easier. Okay, that French stuff, that's not good. Let's go ahead and bring back the original French value here. Same thing here. Whatever corrupted it, we don't want to persist that out. And again, this is why we check instead of just pushing things. Although this is broken for French and German until we get those other strings in. So spring, summer, harvest math, Yule, anniversary, Farmers Faire, all of that stuff we were just working with. Great. Okay, strings. Here's where we define anniversary fireworks. Yep, Farmers Faire stuff. The actual festivals themselves feel like that should be higher up in the list. Let's go on over to our strings file. The list of festivals seems super important for Festival Buddy. Let's not bury the lead. Okay, first, yes, great. I don't know what's going on with this example here, but I believe it was already there. Yes, it was. So we're just gonna, oh, that example is supposed to be with Lang. Whoopsie. All right, great. That's why we check things. Also, stop asking me. Here in a sec. Let's see. File operations? No. Yes, automatically reload unless changes to be discarded. Stop asking me. Okay, so festivals. We have our festivals, anniversary fireworks and brie. We have those constants, including color yesterday. We have the Farmers Faire, Fat Mare, food options. Now, I don't know that I want them to be globals, but they do need to be in order to be usable here instead of just using numbers. So they're globals. Okay, so we've added Hobnanigans. Awesome. We have those fireworks announcements, just in English. We have, oh, I dislike all these tabs. Oh, well. We have Hobnanigans, teams, text, Farmers Faire, more Farmers Faire, more Farmers Faire, more Farmers Faire. Great. Again, we're using those named variables. Okay. And more named variables. Awesome. Okay, tooltip. Oh yes, this was a fix for tooltips. A Festival Buddy bug was that you could get into a state where it would just draw a rainbow of tooltips because it thought this was satisfied and just kept on drawing new tooltip, just in this arc. And it was pretty, but it was very distracting. And so this was just a quick little bug fix. I think there might be other subtle bugs with the tooltips, but that's definitely was a big one. In fact, let's go ahead and document that. So that is in our README. Okay. Fixed bug. Tooltip bug. Any tooltip windows spawn. Following the mouse cursor. Great. Okay, so that's a thing. Festival Buddy, yep, we've already looked at that. And that's all we're really looking at. So those are the changes we need. And these new files and these changed files are the ones we need to include. Anything else, we don't need to include. In fact, we're specifically told not to include those in a patch file. Just the things that changed or are new. Keeps the size of the archives down, if nothing else. So these are explicitly the files that we want. Awesome. So we added Anniversary, Hobnanigans, Farmers Faire, and we fixed a bug. Those are kind of the highlights from this. All right, fireworks. Added English, yep. Changed alert timeout. Added initial fireworks, added debug, yep. Drag bar capability for the quick slot window. Oh yeah, sure. Oh, that's a fireworks embry thing. Okay, position, respect the F12, yep. Awesome. That was all just sort of progress on the fireworks embry and not more of a generic README file. Cool. Let's come back over to our source control and check what has changed. Release. Nope. Just a minute. Okay. Fixed comment. Oh, we haven't even done the bounders round stuff. Added a bounder rounds to Farmers Faire bounders round. Okay, so that is the chat logger. That's the quest strings. All right, bounders rounds here. Yep. Great. So we have those other changes we're going to get to. Quest strings, we're going to get to that. But apparently that's why I kept having problems. Okay. Yes. Great. So added Farmers Faire bound rounds. Perfect. Updated README and to-do files. Awesome. Removed unused Hobnanigans win settings. Great. Fixed accented characters. Great. And reordered constants. So we also updated the .plugin file. And finally, we don't want to ship the show debug options. Super easy. Show debug options is getting stashed. And now we have a clean directory that we feel comfortable shipping. Also, I'm going to push out those changes. Great. Okay, so let's start building up a zip file with those changes. And then we could do a quick test with them if we want. And we might even be able to do a release here in the next few minutes. And I say a few minutes, but that's a lie. But tonight. Okay, so what we need is, we need to go ahead and go over to Documents, plug in along Releases, and we're going to come along and make a Festival Buddy version, whatever I said this was. Okay, so that's a Festival Buddy version 1.4.5.1. Awesome. So whatever is in here is the folder that we see. And so that is Motorings Online, plugins, Galahad plugins. Great. We're just going to go ahead and manually make that. We don't want to copy over because we don't want everything that's in there. We do want the Festival Buddy plugin, dot plugin. And we want to go ahead and create Festival Buddy. And I keep typing things when I should be copy pasting things. Most of the time it doesn't get me into trouble until it does. Great. So we've got us the source over here on the left, the destination over here on the right. And we've got our comparison that's going to tell us which files we want to make sure we get. So first of all, some stuff in the resources. Let's delve on in there. We've got all of Dragbar, great. And we've got the events, quick slots, fireworks, and brie. And we've got 3 main wins. We've got a Farmers Faire and a Hobnanigans and a Midsummer. And we have the skill border. And that is all. So we have quick slots, yep. Farmers Faire, Hobnanigans, Midsummer, skill border. Awesome. Pop back out of the resources. We've got that README file. I kind of regret that it has an underscore at the beginning, but it does keep it separate from the other files. So your mileage may vary. I find it more readable for the README to just be readme.txt. But for whatever reason, it was not. You know what? I can fix that. Okay. So if we come into our source control, this looks like a delete and a creation, but most modern tools are going to be smart enough to realize that's just a rename. Renamed the README file. It's going to see a deletion and creation and say, oh, nothing else changed, just the file name. Cool. That's our rename. And it's going to keep that file history if you do it this way. If you do it as a delete and then as a creation, all of that file history that happened before, there wasn't any, but if there were, would be lost. So you want to maintain that rename if you can. Okay, so yes, we have the README. Let's go ahead and do a refresh here. Full. Cool. Okay, so we want to go ahead and select all of those. Yes, those are the ones we want. Okay, so alert. .lua, barter items, barter win, chat logger, drag bar, fireworks event quick slot, globals, Hobnanigans win, images, main win, options, pretty much like half of the files. That's what we're seeing. Quest strings, a README, yep, that's new, strings, timer control, and tooltip, which, you know, yeah, over half the files got touched in some way. Okay, so in theory, that was all of those. We've got the festivalbuddy.plugin there. So what we can do with this is we can do a bit of a test. What we want to do is come on back out to our downloads folder. That's where that was. And we're going to go ahead and copy this Festival Buddy into a test folder. And so what's in here is the original Galahad. And then if we come on in, we should be able to copy our merge files in here. We're going to get hey, there's 12 files with the same name. Let's replace those files. And we should be able to compare that with what's in our documents, Lord of the Rings Online, plugins, Galahad, and this should be identical except for the files that did not ship. So what do we have here? We have the wrong rules being used. Let's go ahead and compare contents. Great. Okay, so our to-do file didn't go across. Our source files, these are image manipulation program layer files or whatnot, text references, anything that is for us as developers, but not for the consumer. Cool. That's source files. To-do file. Cool. Everything else is a match. If we go ahead and release all this, we can see everything else is a match. There's no missing files that weren't desired to be missed. Perfect. Sometimes I'm lazy, I don't do this step, then I ship something that's missing a crucial file, and then I feel bad. So, we'll go ahead and close that. And so that tells us, pretty convincingly, that this zip file is ready to be made. Cool. So we need a zip file. And it's going to be the same name as that folder. But we do want to make sure when we create it, drag the plugin author named folder in, because that's what we need to be extracted in order for it to play nicely in this ecosystem. Ads in chat says, as a Node/React dev, this side of development is super fun to see. Awesome. Awesome. I'm by no means an expert, but I am enthusiastic, and I feel like that makes up for a lot. Okay, so we have a zip file primed for release. Inside of that, we have the folder that should sit in the plugins folder. Awesome. Inside of that, we have our .plugin and our plugin directory. Inside of that, we have just the files that have changed or have been added, like drag bar here has been added, chat logger has been changed. We also have in our resources those new images there, and all of these drag bar images as well. Awesome. Cool. At this point, what we're really just missing is text for the website. If you've watched this here before, you've probably seen that I really prefer to have that text ready to go ahead of time. I feel like it really streamlines the process. So, when we upload this patch, we're going to need some stuff. We're going to need the description of it, specifically. We'll also want to have images, perhaps, and descriptions for those images as well. Cool. So like Festival Buddy, for instance, just has a single image with a bunch of different screens in it. That's a way to do it. And it's possible when it was uploaded, there was only one image allowed for a plugin. You can see it was updated in 2014. 8 years ago, it's possible since then they've added multiple picture capability. Who knows? Awesome. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and pre-write our description. And to do that, I'm actually going to cheat by referencing a previous patch that I have done. So for instance, a Minstrel Bus with Out of Combat Timer is a patch that I have done. And we have the introduction, we have whatever else is going to go in here, images, installation and setup, the history. So this is overkill, of course. But if we come in, we can go ahead and lift all that out. So let's bring that in to a text editor of our choice. This is Sublime Text. And I'm actually going to save that into Documents, Lord of the Rings Online, Plugins, Galahad Plugins, and under Festival Buddy, there's source files. I also like making a website directory. This is just where I put text and images that go out into the world to publicize. That way I never have to think about, oh, where did that image go? I need to recreate that. Oh, darn. I always have a record of what went out. So here we are. That is 1451. Great. And for naming consistency, let's just go look and see how I named some of these somewhere else. So let's go to plugins, cube plugins. We'll just do minstrel buff. That's what we're pulling from. So, oh, actually, that was docs. You know, I kind of like that better than website. It's a newer name, docs. Great. Cool. So this was plugin description for LOTROinterface.com. Yeah. And that's version 1.4.5.1.txt. Awesome. Obviously, we still need to edit that, but it's a start. Okay, so introduction. This is where we can just reference what it is we're doing. I've got so many windows open. My apologies. Okay, so this is going to be an update to Festival Buddy. So let's update that link. Update the name of it. Festival Buddy is a great interface for helping you complete festival quests. This patch adds in support for the anniversary fireworks in pre-quest, Nanigans, and Farmers Faire quests. Cool, something like that. This was a section that is just not necessary here. The only thing I would say is it's useful to remember how to link images if you need more than 4. I don't think I do, though. So, gonna delete that, and this, and this, and that. Great. So, installation and setup. To install, first you need to install Festival Buddy. Yes. Version 1.4.5. This patch only includes necessary changes to update that plugin. To install it, you can use LOTRO Plugin Compendium, or just unzip the archive and drag the, time to update this again, Galahad plugins. There we go. Folder into your Documents Lord of the Rings Online plugins folder. If you've not previously installed any plugins, you'll have to first create the plugins folder. It's all boilerplate language for a plugin patch. Next, download this patch and unzip it. It also contains a Galahad plugins folder, which you should drag into the same place as before. You'll be prompted to overwrite files. Answer yes. To load the plugin, use the game's built-in plugin manager. This can be found in the caret menu at the bottom of the screen or by typing /plugin manager. Plugin space manager. Is it plugin or plugins? Oh, that's embarrassing. I think it's actually /plugins. /plugins space manager into your chat window. Okay, when the plugin manager opens, find Festival Buddy in the list on the left side. Verify that the version is 1.4.5.1. If it is 1.4.5, then you have not properly installed the patch. If it is 1. Now, this is a language for an updated patch, so we're going to delete that. Click Load to load the plugin. If you like the plugin to load automatically, blah, blah, blah. Okay, history. And this is going to be much easier. This is today, so this is 8/16 still. 1.4.5. And as for the numbering, I like to just use, if this is a patch, I just like to use the original number that the patch is targeting, and then just start incrementing my own, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. And that way it's very obvious to me what the original version that I'm intent to modify is. Because we're changing those original files. A patch only really works for that original version that you're patching against. It could work for other versions, probably won't. Okay, and then here's where we go ahead and add the actual changes here. So, initial release, and specifically those things that we said. So, readme. added these things. Yeah, added fireworks and brie, hobnanigans, and Farmers Faire. I tried to make that pretty brief. If someone wants, they can always look at the README file. Okay, that's an easy part, but we're going to want some screenshots for each of those three things that we're highlighting. For the fireworks and brie, I wonder if I have any screenshots left over, because unfortunately, you may have noticed it is not the fireworks and brie time. So let's go into Documents. We're going to come into Lord of the Rings Online, Plugins, Galahad Plugins, and Festival Buddy. And here we have those source files. So let's see what we've got. Okay, that was the quick slots. Cool. Let's see, we have skill borders. You know, that is fine. We can go ahead and let's come on into our GNU Image Manipulation Program, or GIMP for short, and check this out. Okay, so we can go ahead and mock up a few screenshots here. So we're going to go ahead and export this as, and this is going to be docs, and this is going to be fireworks and brie. Oops, not trying to search. Export as fireworks and brie. Not yellow. Okay, and then we'll just go ahead and do the same. But instead, we're going to go ahead and only yellow. That's kind of the two variations that you've got. Export as only yellow. Okay, now my fear is that I had a highlight visible. Nope, it's fine. Okay, so we have the not yellow and the only yellow. Let's go ahead and just make a composite of that so that, yeah. Let's make a composite of that so we only use one of our images out of the four that we get. So the only brie, cool. We're going to go ahead and edit this, copy it. It's off screen, but we're going to go ahead and paste that in and move it on down. Now, I'm not a big fan of all of this white space around it, but I have a feeling I'm going to like black even worse. No, I'm wrong. It's fine. Actually, let's save this as combined, and then we'll fix that transparency. Yep, any transparency will be lost because I didn't bother to do this in the place I should have done it in the first place. Alright, so we're going to make this 200 by 100. New image. 200 by 100. Okay. We want that to be transparent. Great. And we're going to go ahead and open as layers both of those things. Docs, both of those. Great. Then we can just move them where we need them to be. And now we've got a proper transparent background. Alright, I think we've got a little bit more space around than we need. Let's go ahead and, oops, image, fit canvas to layers, oops, sorry, crop to content, Oh, you're right. Image crop to content. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save that. And that's going to be documents, Lord of the Rings Online, plugins, Galahad plugins, and again, that's going to go into that source files. We only want to do this once. So fireworks and brie, event, yellow and not yellow. Cool. And let's go ahead and export that as. We're going to come back in, and that is going into docs. Yellow and not yellow. Great. Now we've got that combined one. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. What else did we do? Hobnanigans UI. That one's much easier because there's a fully fledged debug capability here. We're going to go ahead and just set this up. So flying feathers, steel beaks, flying feathers. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start that. We're going to start the game, and we're going to go ahead and score for flying feathers a few times and for the steel beaks. All right, we're going to go ahead and advance time by, no, it's fine there. Now we just need to take a snip of it. Use the snipping tool, make a rectangular snip. Just draw it around there, and we're good. We can go ahead and crop that more if we wanted to. Yeah, it's fine. All right, we're going to go ahead and save that. Again, we're going to Documents, Lord of the Rings Online, Plugins, Galahad, Vessel Buddy, and that's going into our docs. So what I want to do is update these file names, but we're getting close. Hobnanigans. Cool. Okay, and what was the final thing we added? Farmers Faire quests. Great. Farmers Faire. And we'll go ahead and do fresh savory mushroom. Go ahead and do a new snip. Yep, cut off the top of the window there. Great. All right, so those are the three things that we're focusing on. And what I want to do is go ahead and update those names to be a little bit more consistent. So we're really looking for Festival Buddy version 1.4.5.1 image something. In this case, Farmers Faire. We'll probably call that image number 3. We've got fireworks and brie, so we're going to go ahead and, again, that's going to be image 1, and Hobnanigans will be image 2. And we don't actually need those uncombined versions. What we also want are the image captions. So we're going to make a new text file, image captions. And what we want here is just the text that we're going to put on the website for each of these images. So that, we also have image 2 and image 3. Okay, so new UI for anniversary fireworks and brie quest. All right, new UI for Hobnanigans to track score, time, score, and time. New Farmers Faire quests added. Let's just call it Farmers Faire. Cool. So I think we're all set to go ahead and do an upload. When you do an upload, there's some things we need. We need the zip file. We've got that. We need our images and the descriptions of those images. We've got that. We need the title. That just flows automatically in the version. And we need that final description. We've got that too. So we're all ready to fill this in one go. Just in case there's a nonce, let's refresh, and we'll go ahead and choose that file. We're going to Documents, Plugin Long Releases, and this is going to be the first Festival Buddy version 1.4.5.1. Awesome. We're going to go ahead and manage those images. We're going to choose files, and again, we're going to go into Documents, LOTRO Rings Online, Plugins, Galahad Plugins, and Festival Buddy. We've got our Docs folder, and we've got Image 1, and we've got a caption for the image. We're all set. Don't need to think about this at all. This should be kind of on rails here. So we're going to go ahead and copy and paste, upload. All right, choose number 2. Copy and paste, upload. Choose number 3. Copy and paste and upload. So we've gone ahead and attached 3, new UI anniversary fireworks, new UI for Hobnigans, and Farmers Faire quest added. Cool. We can close this window. When in doubt, you can always reopen it and confirm that they're still there. Awesome. Interface title. And yeah, I didn't actually think of a title. Let's go back to this. This is Festival Buddy. Festival Buddy support for Hobnigans. Extended support. Let's not tire our hands too much. This might be more than what we've done so far. So this is just extended support, maybe. I don't know. If we go to downloads, is there a way to just see patches? Perhaps not. Perhaps I've clicked the wrong thing. Category LOTRO patches. Cool. Where are those? Ah, LOTRO patches. There we go. Buff monitor with stuff. Patches Titan bar for whatever. Yeah, sure. We'll just start with Festival Buddy extended support or something. And this is going to be 1.4.5.1. Now we have our description already set up. We're going to go ahead and bring it on in. Introduction, installation and setup, history. Great. There's a rules and disclaimer. It's a good idea to read these every once in a while and make sure you have read, understand, and agree to them with a checkbox at the bottom of the window. Okay, that's it for the first upload. Hopefully I'm not going to regret that name, but you know what? It is what it is. Your file was successfully uploaded. Now, that starts the review process. So there is some sort of automated or manual review before this goes live. And they may or may not contact you if they decline your submission. So just be aware of that. You're not going to see it immediately. But if you do go to your interfaces, you will see it presumably in the pending state. Festival Buddy extended support. Hey, Kato. Awesome. So, for those of you who are doing the anniversary event, I'd love to hear if these changes, especially the, Farmers Faire event, especially if the Farmers Faire specific stuff is helpful to you, or if there's a crucial part of Farmers Faire that I missed out on that would really be helpful. But either way, we've gone ahead and put out this, and in some amount of time, it will be done pending and be available for download. Cool. I'll probably put out something in the forums as well, just to let people know in case they don't watch this or don't pay attention to the LOTRO interface. Neat. Well, I'm rapidly running out of time and also content. So, might do the forum post real fast because otherwise I'll put it off indefinitely and that would be sad. Okay, so in the docs we have LOTRO forum description. Great. Let's just steal what that looks like. So plugin LOTRO forum description 1.4.5.1. Great. So my first patch for the Festival Buddy plugin is let's see. Okay, so that's going to be a URL equals something. Festival Extended Sport is now available at lotrointerface.com. Great. And we do need that URL. That would be lovely to have. There we go. Cool. It's available for download. So we're going to go ahead and put that URL in. Words are hard, so if I have previous words that more or less suit my purpose, I'll try to just reuse those instead of coming up with new words. This release includes several changes. So we're going to go ahead and use those images, and because we are uploaded onto the LOTRO interface, we can just reference those images. So copy image address. Great. So a helper UI for the Fireworks in Bree quest anniversary. Fireworks in, well, I need to spell that correctly. Anniversary. Fireworks in Bree quest that shows the valid options, and that's IMG with a link, and then close IMG. Awesome, and we're going to kill the rest of this now that we have what we need. Okay, what else did we have? We had a new Hobnettigans, copy image address, a new UI for Hobnettigans that tracks the score for each team and the time remaining. IMG, and whatever else I did. Aha! Copy image address. Added the Bywater Farmers Faire. Added many Bywater Farmers Faire quests to. Yeah, we'll just call it that. And IMG link / IMG. This also includes a bug fix to the Festival Buddy tooltips. I'd say more detailed information is available, but not really. This is probably as much detailed information. So more information is available. Download the original plugin at URL equals and the patch at URL equals / URL equals. Okay. So we have Festival Buddy. Yep. Cool. Where's that patch? Awesome. So we have some text that we can plop up onto the forums. I don't have to try to edit it live while we're there. So that being said, forums.lotro.com/something something. All right. Log in. I wonder if I can log in. Great. So forums. We're going to go ahead to the is it? There we go. User interface and Lua scripting, plugins and requests. And here's where we can go ahead and do it. If you have a plugin that you're releasing, it's good to have a plugin or possibly a patch. If it's a plugin that you're requesting other people do, it's good to prefix that with request, or you're not releasing a full plugin, but it's a class or a library, you could also use prefixes like that. Okay, so if I post a new thread, we'll go ahead and have plugin, but it's also a patch. And we'll just go ahead and copy paste this in. Now, we do have a preview functionality on this forum, so I'm going to make heavy use of that. Preview. All right, my first patch for the Festival Buddy plugin, Festival Buddy Extended Support, is now available at LOTROinterface.com. This release includes several changes. Helper UI for the anniversary fireworks and break quest that shows the valid options. A new UI for Hobnanigans that tracks the score for each team and the time remaining. And many Bywater Farmers Faire quests. The release also includes a bug fix to the Festival Buddy tooltips. The original plugin and the patch at LOTROinterface.com. Great. So we'll let people know about that. Oh, I should probably have a title for this forum thread. Let's see. Sure, just the name of it sounds great. All right, we're going to go ahead and submit that thread and wash our hands of it. Hooray! Awesome. Now, there's the potential, if we're linking to images that are on LOTRO interface, that those images could change or otherwise be interfered with. But we have saved off those images, and we'll commit them in our source repository here in just a minute. Release artifacts. So even if they disappear from the web, we can just put them out in a new location. Let's go ahead and rename that. PNG, image captions, forum descriptions, plugin description, and that source file. Great. Okay. So that's well, I guess I can get rid of all this stuff now. That's what it takes, or what it takes me to go ahead and release a patch for an existing plugin. We need to figure out what files have changed, what files are new, wrap them all together. We need a description for the patch. We need a description for both that, and if we're trying to tell people about it, the LOTRO forums. We need images, we need descriptions for those images, and we can put all those together ahead of time. Right now we did it just ahead of time, but you can do it as you go, and then when it comes time to release, you're just copy pasting, and you can make sure you get the flow of the submission correct and not worry about all the words you're trying to type. Those are already done. You're just focusing on the release, not on the release and also crafting messages and also doing all the images one thing at a time. So that's what I do for a release like that. And we can see the updated .plugin file that comes in with those Farmers Faire and Hobnanigans. And it is all good. I'll do an unload and reload just to make sure it's all working. And we're going to want that debug capability back. Great. Okay. Well, if any of you do the festival, let me know how it goes if you use this as well. In the meantime, I'm going to close down some tabs here. If you've got any last-minute thoughts, questions, comments, concerns you'd like to throw into chat here, now's your time as we wrap this up. I'm curious. Nope, no downloads so far. Get on it, people. I kid. Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm going to get a drink just in case anyone has anything to type. All right. Seeing nothing, hearing nothing, that is all we're going to cover today. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration of LOTRO plugins. I think this is very successful. Very excited to see this out in the world where people can give it a try. Anyway, I do hope to see you here next week, and until then, keep plugging along. All right, bye-bye now.